Hey guys, so I wanted to take a look at my mock so far. I've had a lot of questions and comments about when you guys are going to get to see it and how it's looking and things like that, with a specific amount of interest to do with Umbridge's office. So I sat down today and I pulled out my bricks and I did some building, and as you can see, it's not complete. And a lot of this might also look very familiar. But I thought it would also be interesting to do a progress update, and there's some areas of this mock as well that I need ideas for. I've got empty spaces and empty rooms that I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do with. So it would be really nice to get your input and some ideas to what type of rooms I could have inside. So the overview for the mock is basically what I wanted to do is take all of my old 2010 and 2011 sets and kind of rebuild them. So what I did is I grabbed my manuals out and I built them pretty much following the instructions. One thing I did do, however, is if you take a look at all of the sides, I've moved the Technic pins to the bottom. That way I can connect them with the Technic pins to the newer sets if I need to. I've done this on pretty much everything. Let me just move Sig Fig Me out of the way. So I've done this on pretty much every single layer of the mock. That way it blends in a lot nicer. How about we take a look at the first complete build, and that is the suspension bridge. It's not even the suspension bridge, is it? Oopsies. This is the bridge from the 2011 Hogwarts set. I loved the build of this bridge in the original. I think it looked really good, especially for something so small. Now, this could be the viaduct bridge. Now that I think about it, those archways kind of give me off viaduct vibes. To do this, it was really easy to modify. All I did really was take out the play feature. So there's nothing underneath there, no Technic pieces. If you look through the middle, you can see that there's one pillar. I also moved the Technic joints to the bottom. That way it can connect with the other sets. Now the main change I had to make this fit in was getting these dark grey cones. Basically all I did was swap out those pieces with them in dark grey. The other big change I made was with different plates to make the bridge, and I just stuck them in there, which is why I have that structure in the middle to kind of keep it up and make it a bit more stable. Another building which is very similar is the Dumbledore's office from the 2010 Hogwarts. The major thing missing from this set is the giant cone piece that fits at the top here, as I want to get that in the dark grey. So I haven't put the sand green on one for now, as it's not really essential to the structure of the tower, unlike these pieces here, which I also want to get in dark grey. These four cones at the top though, I think I'm just gonna leave them. That way it will match a bit better to the Astronomy tower, which has some green cone pieces and green cheese slopes, although I do want to switch those green cheese slopes out. Turning it around to the inside, we have a big open floor. I've taken away the staircase and I took away that big brick that sits along the top as well. So the structure is a bit weaker, which I don't really mind. I'm not playing with it, it's for display. Inside this section here, I'm not too sure what to put. I was thinking earlier about maybe doing the trophy room or something like that. Maybe even the Slytherin common room or a potions classroom, but I feel like it's not really dungeon-esque. I also might need to put the Griffin in, as on the top level we have Dumbledore's office. So for this one, I swapped out the pillars and put some of these tan ones in, as he has these two giant tan pillars behind his chair. I took the chair from the 2010 one and kind of modified it a bit. I made it shorter and I made it so that there's no bottom, that way the newer Dumbledore can actually stand inside it. And I figured out when I was trying to find reference photos for Dumbledore's office's chair is that this chair was actually based on his Great Hall chair, which is why those green pieces are there. His desk I took straight from the 2019 clock tower. I didn't really change too much there, as that sticker print looks very accurate. On the right here, I have a little stand which is for Fawkes the Phoenix, which rumor has it is coming very, very soon in a CMF series. And at the front here, I have Dumbledore's pensive table. Now this one was really hard for me to nail. Of course, we got the dish with Dumbledore in the CMF series in 2018, but I didn't know how to do the build. Originally, I was thinking of using a 2x2 round brick, but when I looked at reference photos, the actual pensive was floating. I took a round plate and put it on top of a stud. Then I've got two clear studs on top of that, and then just the pensive bowl on the top. Then on the side here, we have Dumbledore's little vial thing. I'm not too sure what this actual thingy's called. It is missing one brick though, as I don't have another clear round 1x1 brick. So ideally that will be the same height as all the other ones. Just basing it off Dumbledore's office from the movie, the main thing I'm missing are bookcases. Moving up to the top, I didn't really do too many changes. Now, because of the way I changed the pillar structure to bring them a lot further back than the 2010 one had, and that is Dumbledore's office building. This building is probably the most boring of all. Basically, I took that little square tower from the 2010 set. This was the section that the vanishing cabinet was in, if you remember. And basically, I just made it a lot taller because I wanted to fit in the little statue from the advent calendar. I originally thought they just made this statue up. Forgetful me didn't actually realize that this thing actually does exist in the film. On top of his base, this statue stands very tall. So much so that I had to have the wall of this building 9 studs high, and I've only got like a brick and a plate's worth of clearance. So I've created this little balcony area. I need to find a 1x1 tan stud. I don't have any in any of the bags, I think, so I think I'm gonna have to order one. And then I want to get some 1x2 cheese slope pieces to pad out the top, just like in the Whomping Willow. Now, I've got 2 tiny buildings which are like half done, and I'm not too sure if I'm going to put them on top of each other or where exactly I'm going to put them, but I've got them mostly done. This one is a lot more complete than the other one, and that is the Charms classroom. So over here we have a stack of books with a 2x1 plate on the top, and that is for Flitwick to stand on. Then I also used these white quill pieces or flames or feathers or whatever you want to call them to make that feathering effect. I attached this one just using a brown clip, and the one at the back I have floating, so that if I put some students in, I can have one of them pointing their wand up in the sky, making it float. And then I've got the 2 Technic holes at the bottom. So realistically, this could be the bottom of a tower. The other room that is not complete is the Gryffindor Common Room, or also the Gryffindor dormitories. Now, I'll kind of pop this top plate off, that way you can get a better look at the inside. So what I've done here is I've taken the Gryffindor beds from the Whomping Willow set, and I've also got Dean Thomas's flag, and I've kind of rebuilt that top layer that we saw in the original Gryffindor tower from 2010. I added some of the windows from the Great Hall set, which I want to get window pane pieces for so that they're not completely open. I also want to get some of those corner pieces to top these off. But other than that, the build on the outside is done. I just feel like this is very bare right now. I don't know what else to put in here. I've got the flags from the advent calendar, and I tried putting them in here, but it just looked a bit too crowded. If you have any ideas on what else to put inside the Gryffindor dormitory, please let me know, as to me this just looks very bland and bare, and I feel like it could be a lot better. And that section will be sitting on top of the Gryffindor tower. But to do this, I took the very bottom of the 2011 Hogwarts, which has that really nice rocky structure. So at the bottom, I have an empty level. This is where a statue used to be in the 2010 version, but I don't know what to put here. I've also got these massive gaps at the bottom because of the way this one from 2011 is built, although I have no idea what to put in here. I might just add a few more pieces to the front and kind of close the whole thing off and make it hollow on the inside. But I've still got the clips in the walls, just like in the original version here, and I've got those modified bricks at the back, so I could hang something on the wall. I just don't know what to put here. I was thinking possibly Snape's storage for all his like potions and specialized ingredients, something like that. If Lego ever does a fat lady figure, I'll probably put her here, or I might get one of those giant frame pieces and make my own fat lady using like the white ghost dress piece from the haunted house. I might order that on Bricklink. Please, any ideas for this section as well? I don't know what we should call this. Maybe empty corridor. If you have any ideas for the empty corridor, please let me know. And at the top, we have the Gryffindor dormitory. It's not the dormitory, never mind. At the top, we have the Gryffindor Common Room. So I plan for the Gryffindor dormitory to sit on the top here. Haven't quite gotten around to that yet because I want to build this up first before I try and attach the plate to the top. So I've taken the fireplace and kind of made it a lot more skinnier from the 2010 version and made some nice flames at the bottom. I've got some round pieces in like dark trans red and a light trans orange. I think I want to get some just basic red chairs if I can and put them in here. I might build up the chessboard from the advent calendar and make that on a little table. And on the outside we have a window. I need to get a 1x1 tan brick here and for here. Otherwise the structure on this one is done. I just really need to flesh out the interior and add some more yet again. And that's the problem that I'm having with a lot of this stuff in my mock at the moment, is that I'm not completely satisfied with the interior. Now the last building is the only one I actually am satisfied with the interior of, and that is this tower. I don't actually know what to call this, but it's my favorite. So starting at the bottom, we have that same 2011 Hogwarts empty rocky space here, and then on the inside we have the Hufflepuff Common Room. So let me just pop this bit off. I've just ripped off the entire ceiling. Whoops. Inside we have the Hufflepuff Common room. I really love how this turned out. If I can make any of them look just as good as this, I will be satisfied. I love the amount of detail and builds I could do in this tiny space. Now, I really love the outside of this one. Once again, this is based off the 2010-2011 style builds, where it's just a really skinny tower. Except I wanted more space. I wanted it to look a bit different, so I built it up using these inverted slopes, and I put some of just the regular slopes on the top to make it fit the base plate that is going to sit underneath. Over the side here, as I did want to have the Advent calendar's fireplace, I needed to kind of build it up. So I added some more rocks coming up the wall and added this modified piece on the side so I could add the cheese slopes and have just the regular pillar sitting on the top, which is mainly there to hide this gap between the fireplace. So like I said previously, we have the Advent calendar fireplace sitting on the inside. I left the little wreath up as well. I think it looks really nice. And we've got the same sloped pieces that are in it. On the side, we have a little plant pot, which is literally just a brown 1x1 with these 2 green leaves and a light teal flower on the top. It's very simple, but like, I actually quite like it. And maybe I'll put another flower on the top, but I feel like the simpler the design for this one, the better. At the back, we have the Hufflepuff flag, which is just sat on a gold stud, which is wedged between 4 regular studs. That way it can kind of hang over these paneled pieces and use up some of that space. In the center, we have this tiny table, which I accidentally just left a leg behind. Never mind. It is just a 1x4 plate with 2 round 1x1s as its legs. Originally, I just had this gold goblet sitting on the top, but then I was going through all the food pieces I had, and I had some croissants, and I thought, you know what, these stick on one stud. Let me just chuck one on the table, make it look a bit more lively in here. Then over on the side, we have a Hufflepuff couch. Now, a lot of these pieces, I'm surprised I actually had in my collection. The only thing I think I needed to order was this round plate piece at the top. Inside the nook on the wall, I can just take this whole thing off as it's not actually connected. So inside, I wanted there to be a bit of space, and I thought I have all these little modified pieces on the wall, so let's stick some flowers into it. As the leader of Hufflepuff House is Professor Sprout, which is notoriously known for running the herbology classes. So with that, I wanted to have a lot of foliage within the Hufflepuff Common room, which is also why I had that plant pot at the front. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite rooms. I mean, it kind of has to be. It's one of the only ones that's complete. And on top of the Hufflepuff dormitory, we have my favorite room, hands down, and that is Umbridge's office. And this is the room I had the most questions about. A lot of people wanted to see how Umbridge's office turned out, and admittedly, this is the one I had the best idea for. Because of the space, I did have to change the way I built it quite a lot, and it did take me a while to figure out how I was actually going to work this. I had a lot of ideas, but not a lot of idea on how to actually do it. Now, as you can see from the exterior, I am missing a lot of pieces. Can we appreciate the build of this? I really like how this rocky formation turned out. Looks great, go me. And also the window build, how it sticks out. I'm really proud of that too. I'm missing some tile pieces to make Umbridge's carpet, but besides that, like, this room is done. If we zoom in on the right, I've got these pillar pieces, which I'm pretty sure were from the 2011 Hogwarts. And at the back, I have these plate panels, which are just round 2x2 jumpers with a light pink stud on the top, which are attached to a 2x6 plate. And I've got one of those on either side of the building. At the back, I've got some pink curtains. These were very hard to hang up. I struggled to figure out how I was going to do this. So I put these 1x3 plates on the back and then attached it to these modified bricks at the top. This modified brick is then attached to another modified brick, which you can see up the back here, and that's kind of just how they hang. Originally, I wanted to have like a full arch piece at the top. I don't think it's going to fit in anymore though, and that's really the only thing that I had to leave out. On the other side, we have some more plates and another one of those picture pieces hanging on the wall, as well as a really nice pink flower pot with a lot of pink flowers. And then one of my favorite additions, which I saw originally on Google, I think it was these gold kind of vine leaf pieces. They had it hanging at the back of her office, and I think it looked really good. I feel like it added so much to the design of her office, and considering it's such a small space, I'm really glad with how this turned out. Originally as well, I wanted to have one of those dark pink umbrellas that are from Friends hanging from the ceiling, but honestly, I don't think it's gonna fit. I feel like if I put it in, it would ruin it. Now, all of my minifigures are on display, but I'm gonna go get Umbridge because I want to see how she looks in her office. I've never actually put her in here. Umbridge is now in her office. Wow, okay, I really, really like this. You can see why this is my favorite room that I've done. I just think the amount of detail that I managed to fit in here is spectacular, and I'm really surprised in myself, especially considering I'm not really a seasonal mock builder. I'm not out here creating spectacular mocks. This is just a real passion project for me, which is why I wanted to show you guys, especially as a lot of you seemed very interested as well. So that is my completed Hogwarts mock so far. Now, this is a passion project of mine. It's not going to be perfect. I don't expect it to. I'm just trying my hardest, and I'm going to try my hardest to get them as good as Umbridge's office and the Hufflepuff Common room, but it will take time. I will keep you guys updated though if I ever finish a room or get a new set of pieces and finally move them in. I do want to show you. So like I said earlier in the video, if you do have any idea of what type of rooms I can do and how to fill all my empty spaces, or even any ideas of things that I should put in my already done spaces, I mean, besides Umbridge's office, I really don't think I'd be able to fit much else in there besides like finishing off her carpet and maybe making the curtains look a bit more complete. So let me know your thoughts as well. Do you like the way it's looking? What do I need to add? And have you done something similar like this too? Let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And until then, I'll see you later.